You don't. Download StoryFire. You're going to do most of your growing on there. It's impossible to grow on YouTube anymore. I'm kidding, guys. That's a joke. Welcome back. I'm Jesse Tyler Ridgway. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to grow your hair during quarantine. That's another joke. I know I need to get it cut. I look ridiculous. Today, we're going to be looking at how to grow your YouTube channel in 2020. And not just grow it, I mean hit 1 million subscribers. The pinnacle of YouTube achievement, to where Susan herself comes to your doorstep and hands you your 1 million gold-plated play button with a completely original letter written just about you and your channel. I wish it was like that. That's what we're actually doing on StoryFire, which you guys should download that. But on a serious note, I want to help you guys grow to 1 million subscribers on YouTube in 2020. Is it still possible? Heck freaking yes. And just so I can inject you with your optimism and motivation that you need and all the industry secrets updated for your viewing pleasure in these crazy times. Just drop some likes on this video, guys, and make sure you subscribe. We're still giving away $5,000. We're almost a quarter of a way to our goal of 100K subscribers. We're giving away 5 lucky people $1,000. So make sure you subscribe, likes, and drop some love in the comments below. In many ways, YouTube is still the de facto platform to make a financial living off of digital content. There's other platforms you can do that, like Facebook or Twitch. I'll name drop StoryFire one more time. I even know of creators getting partnership on Snapchat, Mixer, Dailymotion. What is that place? You could go the OnlyFans route, Patreon. There's ways to make money. Drop shipping. There's all kinds of crazy digital facets to the business. And Instagram's even rolling out their own monetization, I think, in the coming months. But everything generally always pulls back into YouTube. I mean, they have channel memberships, ad revenue. They're starting to facilitate brand deals. You could integrate your merchandise right through the platform. To have an audience on YouTube means you generally can count on bills getting paid. Now, I know it's probably going to be weird for me, who I've spoken out against YouTube and I've said it's not a place where you can make money, but that depends on the nature of the content you're making, the frequency of said content, and the amount of views that you're bringing in, and the family-friendly nature is also a big component. There's a lot to cover in this. My sleeves are rolled up, so let's just dive in then. I know there's a lot of you out there that still want to make it big on YouTube, that would still love to have a career on this platform, would love to just get a following anywhere that they can and make this a sustainable living. There's two mindsets, right? There's the one of, it's done, the glory days are over. It's a lot harder to stand out because there's so many content creators and viewers on the platform. It's just so saturated. Also, a lot of my idols growing up, all the OG YouTubers, the guys that got big, got tens of millions of subscribers, billions of views, it seems like all of them have faded away, dropped off, or they're not creating anymore. Or they just don't have that same passion, and honestly, it's been affecting me. But then there's the other camp, the one that's been lost as times have gotten hard and the grind has been brutal. There are those that have withstood the test of time and are still grinding and are still passionate as ever, that are still growing their audience and crushing the game. It's all about discipline, my friends, and just seeing the long-term vision and just pushing through no matter what. This other camp of people has thought that there's no better time than now to grow on YouTube. I mean, look at one of our largest content creators right now, Mr.Beast, who has grown astronomically in the last 2 to 3 years, gaining almost 40 million subscribers. We've seen YouTubers fall off, YouTubers come back. It's all very much a game, and it's skill and luck based, but if you keep persistently pushing forward, you can be successful on YouTube. It's just now there's a lot of other racers, and you gotta bring your freaking A game. While tiptoeing around all the nuanced algorithms and AI that have existed since the beginning, it's a little trickier now. This week we're going to be talking about a few different platforms, but this video specifically is just geared towards YouTube. Now, some of this advice is the same I would have told you a few years ago, except some of the things are different. So I hope you take note, because I ain't taking note for you guys. You guys gotta write. If you guys really want this, you gotta write this stuff down or something. It's one of the fans right now. It says how do you blow up on TikTok? That'll be the next video. We'll do that. Thank you, Jimmy. Number 1, it is a search engine and an advertising platform first. I want you to understand what that means. Google owns YouTube. When you search stuff on Google, you're most likely gonna get fed some YouTube content, and when you go onto YouTube and you're searching videos and you're getting fed videos, it is just a means to an end. YouTube wants to serve you advertisements so they can get money, and they want you to stay on the platform for as long as humanly possible. The better you can reverse engineer YouTube as a platform and why they promote certain things, why they recommend certain channels, what they need to do to serve more advertisements, the better you can understand how to reverse engineer your own content. So okay, if it's a search engine and an advertising platform, that leads into the two biggest points I'm about to say. One, you need to be searchable. You need to use keywords. You need to think in terms of the audience and the user. What are people searching for? And create content that taps into that. It's called discoverability. Make sure that what you're typing in, what you're making, is discoverable by the common person. And number two, if it's an advertising platform and they're trying to serve ads on your content, make sure your content is both brand friendly, as in there's like no blood, guns, sexual stuff, derogatory content, cursing. You wanna make it as PG as humanly possible, and it probably wouldn't hurt to occasionally feature certain brand names or things like that so that the algorithm can latch on to these terms and can feed advertisements into it. There's a few billion data points that the algorithm takes note of, and these keywords can help funnel different advertisements to your channel. Just to give you some proof of this, if you look at some of the top content creators, or even the thought process behind making this finance channel, I'm purposely making brand-friendly, ad-friendly content. I'm also doing things talking about tech stocks, how to grow on YouTube. These are searchable terms. People are Google searching, how do I grow on YouTube? Therefore, this video should perform well. It's all about maximizing your odds. So, although you can grow a channel that's edgy, as well as technically isn't that discoverable, you can still do those things. I'm not trying to diminish you guys pursuing an edgy route or doing sketch-based comedy, whatever. I'm basically giving you some of the best tips in order to really maximize growth and revenue potential, which ultimately is imagine what you guys want. Google's coming after me. They don't like me revealing these things. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's like a freaking bomber. I so wish I had that clip of Tom just running from a B-52 bomber from a couple weeks ago. He was just like, I'm glad he's like, Tom, run! Speaking from my own personal experience, the McJuggernaut's channel, from which I hail from, is another foreign country. We don't like to speak of it much because I don't want to taint this image here. McJuggernaut's channel blew up for only one, well, there's a few reasons, but for one big reason. There was this freak out genre that I saw that had tens of millions of views. I basically copied it, made it super clickbaity, eye-catching, like dad destroying something, and I used a lot of keywords like Xbox, video games, and gaming was super huge on the platform. And this video organically got pushed. It was like one of the first iterations of clickbait. Psycho dad destroys Xbox. It was like before clickbait even became mainstream. And it was like true, that is what happened in the video, and people were searching up Xbox. Gaming was huge on the platform. So all of a sudden I got fed, and the best videos I would make were clickbaited, they were tight, the audience retention was the whole video. So those videos got pushed. And we were also one of the first channels to do like 2 videos a day, regular vlogs. I mean, we were in the golden age of vlogs to where YouTube switched their algorithms to watch time. So when you have 30-minute long videos, 2 a day, that's an hour long of watch time, you know, I was getting recommended like crazy. This was also pre-adpocalypse, so it's a different game now. But if you look at some of my best performing videos, not only were they just good pieces of content generally, but you can see these traits that they had. They were discoverable. Well, they weren't brand friendly, so I could have probably blew up more if they were clean. But they were clickbait, tapping into video games for search. And the watch time was astronomical. My third point is about watch time. So YouTube originally was about views, and the highest viewed videos we get pushed to the top. But then they realized, well, there's videos that are like 30 minutes long. People are spending more time on the platform. We should honor that more. Now that doesn't mean all of a sudden you're gonna do 2-hour-long Let's Plays, and because they're longer, more people are watching longer, so you're gonna push more. Because you could have a 3 or 4 minute long video that also gets crazy amounts of views to where it's so many views that the watch time ends up being just as long as an hour-long video that did. So there's a lot of math involved and analytics if you guys are into that. But it kind of goes without saying, you're trying to get the most quality piece of content where if you're gonna do a 10-minute video, you better make sure that that is 10 entertaining minutes. The days of the long filler vlog is dead. If you look at David Dobrik, if you look at Logan Paul, right now they're doing very short videos and the audience retention is like 100%. People are watching that whole video and they're replayable, so they're getting crazy amounts of views. And it's the same formula I did with the Psycho series to 3 minutes to 4 minutes and 30 seconds. These are tight videos, replay value is high, the audience retention's high. So you want to be mindful of not wasting the audience's time. You want everybody to watch every single granular second and want to rewatch it again and again and again because it's that valuable, whether from a funny standpoint or like this where it's informational standpoint. Do not waste anyone's time because you will not be rewarded for that. Now, Mr.Beast videos, you know, looking at one of the top here, It's like 15-minute long videos, but the editing is so tight. They're paying editors, a few different editors. They're cutting the thing up. Yeah, they're shooting and they're getting like 10 hours of footage, but they chop it up into this tight 15-minute video to where the audience never skips a beat. YouTube sees that and will push the crap out of it. It really helps also if you're family friendly, which he is. Also, these are clickbait, grandiose titles of like $100,000 here and $100,000 there. It's just crazy, outlandish topics that get the clicks, and it also feeds a general audience. There's nothing really polarizing about Mr.Beast content where you're like, I don't agree with this. I don't like that he did that. That's effed up. He never makes himself look bad. It's all strategic. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do Mr.Beast content, and that doesn't mean you have to be Logan Paul or Dobrik, but that cardinal rule of not wasting the audience time and maximizing the retention is key. Next is the click-through rate. You need to make sure that when YouTube is showing your thumbnail to the very limited audience when you first start out, that it's getting clicks. So that thumbnail, it's kind of crazy because like you could have the best piece of content in the world. If that thumbnail and that title does not generate enough hype, nobody's gonna click on it. And unfortunately, it has gotten to a point to where like the biggest YouTube videos are the most ridiculous videos. So much stuff has been done on the platform and the bar has gotten set so high that I can see where people are demoralized. They're like, well, I don't have a Tesla to give away. I don't have 6 figures to give away. How am I gonna stand out? And there's ways to be valuable in, I always came at it from a narrative standpoint. Nobody's really doing narrative on the platform, especially in a vlog format. It was sustainable and made sense economically. Think about the value that you think you can bring. I thought I was good at acting. I didn't really like editing too much. I thought it was tedious. I had a bunch of family around me. So I crafted my content around what I had at my disposal and what I thought I might be halfway decent and enjoy enough to do it over a longer period of time. So make sure you're getting some pretty good clickbait in there. If you wouldn't click on the video, and if you're not gonna sit around to watch, that's one of the biggest rules. Would you subscribe to yourself and would you watch your own content? If the answer is no, you're playing yourself. You gotta really ensure that when you're watching your own video, if you're not your own biggest fan, you messed up. You should love your crap. If you don't eat your own crap, it's not good. And keep chipping away till you are proud of it. No, I'm not gonna lie. I put out some stuff that I'm not, it's not something I wanna rewatch. I'll rewatch it if I have to, but like, there was plenty of filler stuff that I was definitely doing just for money. And you can do that from time to time, but generally you want content that you're proud of and that you feel like you can actually sit through. Because whatever feeling you have making it is usually the feeling the audience has watching it. And that's where you gotta challenge yourself. Nobody said this was easy. That's the biggest tip for growth on YouTube. And this will be the last video for this week. I'm gonna cover a motivation because that is the secret to YouTube. It took me 8 years to ever pass 200 subscribers on YouTube. Think about that, 8 years. Have you even done anything for 8 years? Like straight. If you really want to grow to 1 million subscribers, content doesn't matter. All these little tips and tricks don't matter. If you are not right up here, if you're just not in that right place, how do you ever think you're gonna go grind for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, even just 1 year, even just 3 months straight? How are you gonna be so committed and dedicated to growing on YouTube if you're not right up here? And I don't mean like you're crazy or you're just sad. I mean, it could just be like you're a normal person, but you just don't feel that fire anymore. This is you. Oh my God. I swear this is not symbolic. The one time, oh my God. Download Storyfire? That's what that means, if you want the fire back. Jesus, I'm falling the freak apart. If you find yourself in this category of you feel like you just don't have that to like do the best content you can make, then you're really gonna love the video, not the next one, but the one after this. Tapping into that motivation just a little bit. We're gonna cover so much with that one. That's such a big video. It's a life thing. But I do wanna tap into the excuses. Oh God. Well, I don't have anyone to film with, so I don't really know. I don't know what I can do, really. Please, come on, really? That's what you tell yourself? It's laziness. It's just laziness. The big YouTubers only get views because they have money or because they can, they're already getting views, so they're gonna, you gotta understand. The people that I named, Logan Paul, Dobrik, Beast, myself included, it's the same game. We're playing the same game as you. We're battling ourselves, we're battling the algorithm, and every video we make, we want to make sure it gets lots of views. Just as much as somebody starting at the very bottom with 0 subscribers, which we all started at. It's the same game. You just want as much views on your content as possible, and you personally want to feel like you're progressing. Back to getting to 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I want to say to where that's a good North Star to have. But even before that, if you just want to make a living off YouTube, I encourage you to make sure you've seen my ad revenue video that I did, where I made $250,000 in 1 month. You do not need 1 million subscribers to make a full-time living at this. All it takes is, it could even be 15,000 subs. It could be 50,000 subs. It just depends on your average viewership on your videos. If you do daily content for a month and each one has 5,000 views, that could be enough ad revenue to where you're making $1,500, $2,000 a month. It really is so much of whatever you put in is what you get back. Do not put yourself in this mental trapping of thinking like 1 million subscribers is so much, I'll never get there. You really need to do baby steps and think. For me, it was like, I would just love to see 500 subscribers. I would love to see 1,000. I would love to see a video that breaks 1,000 views. Now here's one of my biggest tips, and I mentioned this in a previous YouTube growth video. If you're just starting out and you don't know what works and you have nothing that's popping off, that's when you take a dump in your hand and just chuck it at the wall. Some of those dumps ain't gonna stick. It's gonna slide down, it's gonna be a disgusting mess. But one of them that you just came up with out of nowhere, it's gonna hit the wall and it's gonna stick. And what I mean by that is, you'll have videos puttering around 10, 100 views, it's nothing. But then all of a sudden you get one that gets 4 figures. It gets 1,000 views and you're like, whoa, that's my highest video yet. Don't all of a sudden start flooding content out there and putting the same crap that you've been putting out before that video popped off. You need to follow the views. You need to look at what you did with that one that got more views than the other and do a follow-up to that or do something in the same vein. That's what happens with Psycho series. That's what happens with a lot of my mini series. I remember during the Ursula series, we had a clown video pop off. We tried the killer clown thing, got a few million views, and I was like, okay. And then a week later, we did another clown video, got a few million views. And I'm like, okay. And then before that, we did another clown video, and then I got a few million views. We were gonna do a clown series, but I ended up doing collab stuff after that. But even Nick, who's editing this video, my cameraman, they did a Pennywise skit that did really well. They had done a bunch of videos before that, and they did this Pennywise thing that did really well. So they did a sequel to it and a sequel to it. And go figure, the sequelitis did well because that's what people were interested in. Now sometimes it's unfortunate, right? The video that you put out that did well is not the thing that you're the most passionate about. And that's where you gotta make some judgment calls. What do you really want? Do you wanna make money off this? Or do you want to get views and grow? Or do you want creative integrity and do you wanna just be creative and whatever? For a while I was the creative one and I wanted to focus on that, but I needed money. I needed a job. So then I said, screw it. I'm just putting out content that I think will work in the system. And then I got one and I was like, are you kidding me? It's this. And I hated it at first and it felt like a chore, but then I kept going and then I started to love it. So look at your own channel. Do you have one that's a little higher than the rest? Maybe it's time you do another one like that. There used to be a lot of cool tricks with like keywords and like, you know, using a lot of tags or like you literally flood a word in the description and you'd be the first result to come up. But a lot of these little tricks and things have changed. I mean, challenges are hard to come by anymore. But occasionally there's things going on, right? Like there's a Logan Paul KSI boxing match that happened and I remember doing a video about that and because people were searching for it, that video popped off. Or the mail yourself in a box challenge, all these things that people were searching for. You can find that a lot with TikTok right now. They're like trends are a trend, you know? You can look at channels like Keemstar with Drama Alert, who is always conscious of the biggest names in the community and reporting drama for clickbait. And so he'll always get large amounts of views because people are searching for that stuff. You want to think about content in a sense of like, what can you do a lot of over time? Hence this finance channel. For me, on the McJourney channel, doing creative storytelling, I mean, it's very hard to come up with original ideas day in, day out for years and years and years on time. I mean, that's just a lot. And it's not the best formula for like massive ad revenue or growth on YouTube. It's a search engine and an advertising platform. Remember those two things more than anything else. Just be mindful of the audience. And sometimes the audience doesn't know what they want. Sometimes they'll be like, I like this. And then they'll send you something else like, I like this too. And you're like, I don't know which direction. I have 3 comments on this video. They like this, they want this. I don't know what to do. Generally, that's when you rely on the hard statistics, the views. You got one that does better view-wise. That's clearly what people want more. Whether they are understanding of that or not, if you got their clicks, you got their interest, and that's what counts. So I encourage you to change your mindset. I know a lot of people like to glamorize YouTube and like it's the epitome of the perfect job. It'd be so fun and fame and fortune and kids just coming to my doorstep and buying my merch, and it's like Hollywood in the sense where it's an illusion to some degree. It is a grind, and more often than not, the YouTuber lifestyle is just sitting at a computer mindlessly plugging away at things and hoping your video sticks. There's a lot of luck involved, but with a lot of passion, a lot of hard work, you expose yourself to more luck the more you keep chipping away. But I want you to understand that as much as, you know, the dream of YouTube is there and like you'd love to just create whatever you want and people love you and watch it, you gotta start thinking of YouTube as a business and a technology platform, a search engine and an advertising platform. You think about it like that and lose the other stuff and just get really down to brass tacks, you can conquer this stuff. It's exactly what the big guys did. They might not say it, or maybe some of them did get lucky and don't realize what they did to succeed, but it's some hard truth. Let's try and unpack some of this, shall we? I'm gonna teleport to the chair this time. I'm not even walking. Oh, I haven't done one of those in a bit. It feels good. So this could definitely be a like 10-part series on how to grow on YouTube, guys. Please just sound off in the comments below if you have any questions or details you want. I could even do a live stream on this channel to go into details about any of this advice stuff. Speaking personally, some of you guys are probably wondering, well, Jess, if it's so easy, why is your channel dead? Holy, that was a lot of spit. Actually, we should probably clean that up. But the thing is with YouTube and my main channel, the two cardinal rules that I gave, I break. I'm not family friendly, therefore it's a lot harder to get recommended to all audiences. Also, the ad dollars I get on there is not even worth the effort. And number two, the search engine aspect, because I do a lot of creative storytelling, it's very hard to title content to where people are gonna wanna click on it. Back during Psycho series, I was getting fed by the algorithms. Not many people were grinding like I was and that had the initial attention from the big psychos. So people were watching the interconnected vlog and stories. However, over time, the algorithms shifted and there's been changes to where art, creation, some of the best produced content is not gonna get seen unless it's also clickbaited to all heck. I personally don't like it. I've faded away from YouTube. I've always understood what the platform was. It was never my mission to be a big YouTuber. It was just to be TV, film, and making creative storytelling. But I found myself I was caught in the net and I couldn't get out. Could I shift the content on the McJourney's channel to lean into growth? Yes. Is the channel sandbagged a bit by all the bad stuff on there? Yes. Is that why I started this channel and it's more geared towards keywords and family-friendly nature? Yes. But understanding that about YouTube with my main channel is that like my motivation to do different works are predicated on the fact that I can't title something like MVE was where the episode's called Haven. Nobody's searching for that. Also, the thumbnail might be eye-catching, but nobody really knows what it is and they're not organically interested in it. My content will never be surfaced to anyone outside of my own audience, and even my own audience is not going to fully understand what that piece of content is. And so for a lot of criticisms for like the old channel is like, this is the nature of the beast, and I understand that not a lot of people understand this about the platform or even half of what's going on. A lot of what I did when I first started growing on YouTube is really genuinely take a hard look at the people that are doing it best on the platform, whether that's PewDiePie, Dobrik, Logan Paul, or Mr.Beast. Mr.Beast especially. And there's so many other channels now. Like I said, it's so saturated. There's so many big channels that you could take little bits and pieces of them to really understand what's going on here. Now it's true, you start to get momentum and then you really start getting fed by the algorithm. But guys, YouTube's been around for, I've been on the platform for, it'll be 14 years this December. As far as lifespan goes, that's a long time. People made tens of millions of dollars off this platform, gained hundreds of millions of subscribers. So many users and viewers now. Everybody can get their piece of the pie for sure, it's possible. However, I'd be looking at some of the other platforms that are just now entering their heyday. The next video we'll be talking about TikTok, and it's new, it's fresh, it's still fresh. Even though some people will be like, been on there for a minute, it's fresh. The eyeballs are there, you can get audience on there. There's also my platform Storyfire. We're about to really pop off in the next month. We have the gasoline getting poured on the fire. We got some really exciting things to where you're like early adopter to this platform, to where once we get bigger in scale, your channel, your audience, your following is gonna grow as well. So like maybe you're not a YouTuber because the game's changed a bit. Maybe you're an influencer on one of these other platforms, even Facebook. There will be a whole video on Facebook coming in the next few weeks that may surprise some of you. But at the end of the day, to close this off, guys, I'm giving away $5,000, so subscribe, drop some likes on this thing. Come on, people. We're a quarter of the way to 100K. Let's get it. We made $24 on the channel so far. I'm freaking stoked. It was like 24.19. It was 19 cents too. It's all going towards covering what I spent on My Virtual Escape. Well, is this even real, Leaf? To conclude, if you're not in that place, if you're not in the go get 'em optimistic, and I mean delusionally optimistic mindset, you're probably not going to make it on YouTube. And I mean make it. The odds are stacked against you in being this multi-million subscribed channel. And I'm not saying that to put you off of it. I'm saying the odds of you having what it takes, more important than any content you'll make, is your freaking drive. You have to be delusionally optimistic. And I'll tell you why it's probably so hard for you watching this video. There's probably a lot of things going on in your mind right now while you're hearing all these things. There's probably some people thinking, yeah, okay, like it's that easy, or it's easy for you to say, or I don't think I have anything special to give. I don't think I can make any good content. I don't know the first thing. There's probably so many, or like somebody else's voice in your head saying like you're not good enough, you'll never make it, or like it's a pipe dream. So much bullshit just in your brain space. If you can't shut all that out and say, you know what, no, I am gonna do it. Like the psycho kid, like, I'm gonna prove to you that I can be big on YouTube and Twitch. And like, if you don't think you're gonna crush it, you're not going to. You have to be a madman. You have to be like, life is great, and I'm gonna, and that's why we're gonna do this motivation video to where we can hopefully silence all that bad stuff. But it cycles back in. It's hard. It's hard. Just really understand that it is supposed to be hard. If you want to get millions of dollars and a million subscribers, it's gonna be freaking hard. It's gonna be the hardest thing you ever did for most of you. Harder than anything. It is a grind. It is a grind that you'll be putting stuff so much in, blood, sweat, and tears, and you're probably gonna get nothing back for a very long time or a very short time. You gotta be mentally prepared for that grind, and it's not for everyone. If you want the sweetest reward, you're gonna have to do the hardest things that nobody else is willing to do. So that's why it's so sweet. All right, guys, make sure you drop some likes. Leave some comments below what kind of topics you want me to cover in the next stuff. Good luck growing to 1 million subscribers. And if you get there, give me a shout out, a little thank you. Be like, yo, this is just so I can get freaking views again. Stay lit, y'all.